God, what year is it?
Christian, I'm glad you asked. It is the ripe year of 2000 and like fucking 14 or 15 when this shit first came out, all right? And that might also not be when Real Men of Genius hit its peak. It might have been closer to like 2011 or something like that.
That's surely like late 2000s.
Yeah, it might be close to like 2008. But Real Men of Genius. And why am I talking about Real Men of Genius, Christian? Well, I think we'll get into it. I think we're going to get into it. You know, this week, you want me to start with the summary before I...
if you like, yeah, I feel... Do you want me to? I can also read summaries.
Well, you can do the summary, but for fair warning, it has a bit of like a Brendanism inflection to it sometime, and I fear for you. Well, you know what I mean? Like you, by all means, go for it. In fact, it might even be funnier this way. You should do it.
Maybe I do it, and we'll see how well I fare in terms of your speaking style. This week on One Piece with a flying kick from the top rope, we return to Luffy and Sanji finally meeting again face to face since they last saw each other back on Dressrosa. We were ready for a tearful reunion before dun dun dun. Sanji in his traumatic fury begins taking out his rage on none other than our stretchy protagonist Monkey D. Luffy. Sanji gives feigned justification for his actions, proclaiming Luffy to be a low-class pirate and certainly not one to be in the hunt for the future king of the pirates and ruler over these seas. This in stark contrast to his attitude before the start of the events of Whole Cake Island. After a one-sided duel concludes with Luffy spitting blood on the ground, Sanji, on the verge of tears, overhears Luffy's final words as he shouts them into the valley. "Come back, Sanji. Until you're back, I won't move an inch or eat anything that isn't cooked firsthand by you. You're our cook, and you can't be replaced. Without you, I'll never be king of the pirates."
That was actually incredible. I'm like a little shocked.
I can't believe
How dare you?
I can't believe I've been sniped in the first 2 minutes of this episode.
Come on, of course I'm going to quote the banger at the end of the summary, man.
In the summary, man. I figured at some point, the quote's definitely going to get brought up, but in the summary, shit. This is like older YouTube from like the 2010s where everyone in the first 30 seconds couldn't curse or they get their video demonetized.
No, better yet, this is like when everyone did, AMVs, but it was all to the same Linkin Park song over and over again to a fucking 360p video.
Yeah.
Crawling in!
I bleeding out, digging deeper just to throw it away.
Just to throw it away. Brother, this is going to be the 2006 cast. Fucking give me time. I've got a fucking a laundry list. I've been playing through fucking a Game Boy Advanced game recently. I've been playing through a fucking Zelda game from 2004 recently. No, not Into the Past. But that's also from like 1999, maybe 2001. I don't remember when that game officially came out. No, I've been playing Minish Cap for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's a fantastic game. I have a lot of fun with it. Never played with it as a child. The only thing I can't stand are these stupid fucking medallions that I got to talk to people to make every single time. But I don't want to get into Zelda right about now. But you know what I will get into, Christian? We've made it to another crossroad. One of my many favorite times in this series. In fact,
is this a go back and cry episode?
Oh my god! Well, more so the second episode than the first. Even though this is actually a fun fact that I. Okay. This is a fun fact that I'm assuming you would be unaware of. I don't know how you would know this, but these two episodes specifically, there's a reason why. Oh, also fun fact. Sorry, audience. I added an episode last week. We only do 2 episodes this week. If you watched all 3, well, you got a jump start for next week. All right. Fucking put me at the stake. Anyway, moving on. These 2 particular set of episodes were originally aired as a 1-hour single sitting release back when it first came out in Japan, which is why
means that explains why there were double the amount of the what are they called, like the mid rolls,
eye catchers. Yeah. At least in the second, I think the first one still had the normal. Oh, they both had double. Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, this was, I feel kind of bad because I'll be the first to say it because I know you're thinking it. You've probably thought it a lot. This is definitely like one.
We watched one episode this week. Or at least I did. I watched one episode this week. 75% of that of 807 was skipped. I got the first part, where they first introduce all of the Luffy getting to them, the caravan there, and the first iteration of Sanji calling him a low-class pirate and all of that. And then it immediately cuts to all of that flashback, and I went, okay, skip. And I'm only halfway. I'm like 9 minutes into the episode. I'm like, all right, we're gonna get past this. And then it cuts back after 5 minutes of flashback. It cuts back to brooding Sanji for 20 seconds. And then we go back to the Baratier from the flashbacks we saw like 3 episodes ago. Not 3 podcast episodes, 3 One Piece episodes ago.
Yeah, I know.
And so the whole, 75% of that episode was nothing new anyway.
So, okay, yeah. I'll be the first to admit, unfortunately, I'm always one to be on the side of recanting info for the sake of storytelling. But I can't. I would be remiss if I said that like we literally just got a large chunk of this, like literally 2 episodes ago. Like not even. It wasn't very long, guys. We didn't need to recant the Spark Notes for about 10 minutes of Sanji backstory. I really didn't need the
Uchiha clan dying again. Really didn't.
Are you getting Uchiha clan flashbacks? God.
I mean, obviously it's not quite as bad, but like the 3.
Hey, we'll take it.
3 episodes ago, dude. Is all I'm saying.
Oh fuck! I do feel for you, Christian, but. All that being said, this episode that we watched is still fucking banger. One of my favorite of all time. It's on the Sad Boy Brendan hours by a mile. I was for those that are unaware, the list that we are describing, you might be newer listeners, you might not actually know this. Once upon a time, I explained to people that I have a Brendan list of my favorite Sad Boy hours episodes of this franchise, where I'll just, if I want to feel like a cry, then I'll just like watch all these episodes back to back. And there's like, it's like a list of like 15 at this point. And this one was, all things considered, relatively recently added to the list. I mean, it's gotten a couple more since then because the dub went fucking off. But I mean, this episode only made it on my list like a year ago. I mean, we've been making fucking great strides. So I was fucking.
This episode made it on after this podcast started.
Oh yeah. Well, for me personally, because I never watched the sub, so I had to wait for the dub to get here, right? And the dub was here a year ago.
Oh
yeah. No, dude.
I see.
Again, once upon a time, maybe not a year ago. It might have been 2 years now. My time's a little fucked up, or a year.
I was gonna say, either way, isn't the dub up to like almost the sub now?
Correct. Yes.
This
is
be like 300 episodes.
This episode, beyond a shadow of a doubt, came out at least later than when I had already purchased my house, which I think was
fucking humble brag. Oh man owns a house.
Okay, sorry. Well, I'm trying to give you context for like a timeline, not the fucking house part, just a timeline, man.
I gotta be honest with you, Brendan. I don't exactly remember when you purchased the house. That also is like, that could have been a year ago. That could have been 3 years ago to me. I really don't.
I think it was 2 years ago. All right. Either way, I think it was like 2 years ago.
All right,
anyway, regardless, all things considered, it was relatively recently added, and I was very, very excited with that. So the first time I got to experience this, now to be fair, I re-experience this show all the time. So it doesn't bother me that I rewatch fucking filler from time to time. I don't sit there and fucking skip. I sit there. I wait in the moment. First episode is fine. I've got notes for it. Regardless of the fact that you've seen it a million times, I still have fun notes to talk about from that backstory, or rather from the flashback. But this later episode, it's one of my favorites. I would be remiss if I didn't say that I am very glad that there's a lot that this conflict does right in my personal opinion, and we can go into all the small details. I'll be very curious to know if you like or dislike how they made this parallel with obviously previous conflicts with other Straw Hat members in the show. The standouts being obviously Robin and Usopp, and what makes Sanji unique. What makes this hopefully a very good written conflict that makes sense. I understand it. But regardless, I'm curious to know your thoughts. So, Christian, please. I don't want to sit here and talking your ear off for the next. Well, I mean, I'm gonna anyway.
Yeah, that's good. That's gonna happen regardless. So,
okay.
However, I will take you up on your offer. I think there is generally a lot of indication in the past of this podcast that would lead you and listeners to believe that I would maybe be sick of this, as like reusing the same sort of plot device that is. And in this case, it is Straw Hat comes into some sort of conflict and it disturbs them morally in some way. Robin, we have she wants to keep her friends out of this thing because she's been drawn back into the underworld in regards to where she comes from, and this is being called out, so on. Usopp obviously is fundamentally against getting rid of Mary, and this goes up against what most of the rest of the crew wishes. And now we have Sanji, who is in this predicament where he is being forced to choose between his love for it, and it's more akin to Robin's, where it's this thing is pulling me away from my friends. So in order to defend my friends, I'm gonna do this other thing. But it's different in that we have, instead of some random thing pulling him away from friends, we have two different groups of people that Sanji loves being threatened. A being Zeph and B being the Straw Hats. And he's now being forced to choose between one of them. And obviously now, and I don't need to re-listen to old episodes to remember this, but because it was merely last week where I said that this would probably happen or would potentially happen. I didn't think it would happen this soon. I literally next episode from Sanji making this decision, I did not think that they would run out of the forest and immediately find this caravan here. That was not on my bingo card. However, we're here, and I gotta be honest with you, Brendan. I might just be a sucker for this because I might just be a sucker for this at this point.
Embrace, Christian, embrace.
I really don't. I don't. I like the thread. I enjoy that at a bare minimum that it is different from Robin's, in that it's not just him deciding to protect his friends for this particular reason. He's being torn in half between literally the only two groups of people he likes in this world. The Baratier crew, specifically Zeph, and the Straw Hats, who he spent all this time and that they've fought together for and with and against all of these insane circumstances. I enjoy that it is different enough to make me invest in it, even when I don't particularly like Sanji as a character. You know, like I Sanji in and of himself, I'm not going to harp on it. We talked about this last week.
Yep.
But I enjoy
go on.
I enjoy that I can still feel myself being interested and wanting to see more of what Sanji does now. Because obviously, we didn't need to see him cry afterward to know that he definitely doesn't want to do this. But being shown that is more powerful. So they give us those scenes of Sanji on the verge of bawling in front of his entire family because of what he just did. He loves Luffy. He loves Nami. But he loves Zeph more, which is the crux here. And it's so maybe this is evil, but like it's so interesting to watch something like this to me. And I thought I'd be tired of it, but I'm not.
Christian, come here, buddy.
I'm here, buddy. I'm here. We can. Well,
thank you.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Let me know next time you're watching the Cry episodes. Living Lux told that you're indulging the list.
I'm going to put that in my notes next to the episode that says, and just so we're all clear, the guy who wanted Sanji to die also said that this was relatively good writing. I'm not going to say it's perfect writing. Nothing will ever be perfect writing, especially in One Piece land. The One Piece has many flaws, but relatively damn good writing. I'm putting that in the fucking footnotes, Christian. Let the goddamn record show.
The record shows.
All right, thank you. I feel vindicated for the next 40 minutes that we're going to be spending on this topic. But I have sub topics to bring up in lieu of all of this drama that we have gone through. So I do want to start really quick with the flashback that I know we're all fucking really sick and tired of. I have simply two notes that I feel like we need to reiterate that really tries to drive home what is happening, what's recontextualizing what's going on between Sanji and Luffy here. So number one, I wrote a note down here in our notes that says what makes Sanji and Luffy work. Now I'm just going to tell you what I think makes Sanji and Luffy work, because there's a lot that makes all the straws work together as an interesting dynamic as a cast of characters. But specifically, what draws Sanji and Luffy together is this a notion that they are these very emotionally driven people. They are very vibe driven people, and their dreams are, well, at least as given to us, as the audience, whatever. Sanji wants to find the All Blue, or fucking Luffy wants to find the One Piece. Now, what's interesting between Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro? Luffy actually has a dream that encompasses something similar to Sanji and Zoro, but neither of them equal each other. Sanji wants to find a mythical thing that no one says exists. Zoro wants to be a title. Luffy wants both. He wants a mythical thing that no one says exists, and also a title, which is what makes all three of them kind of work together seamlessly with where their ambitions lie. Sanji and Luffy being the vibe people. When we go back to Sanji's backstory, and he's basically a watcher to Luffy facing off against Krieg in this moment, he's actually seeing what happens when the emotional motherfucker takes off his own fucking handcuffs and says, I don't give a shit. I'm going in. He's learning something actively in the moment. And I'm not going to pretend like I didn't try to drive this fucking nail in when we first got there. You didn't have any of this fucking context in Sanji. You just knew he was a fucking brat cook guy that beat up that one dude with the metal hands, which, to your point, I'm not going to say you're wrong. That was all he was. However, now you got this context, so I'm fucking going back.
All it took was 750 episodes.
It only took you another 779 some odd episodes for you to finally get the context you needed to really appreciate what the subtlety that made Luffy versus Krieg of all fucking people.
Easiest 779 episodes of my life.
All right. Anyway, so I really appreciate recontextualizing that conflict, even because Krieg is such a throwaway guy, right? Like we don't need anything from him other than he was Geen. Villain of the week, other than Geen, exactly. But what was important was that Sanji was able to witness firsthand just how much a person can accomplish, even if they are this emotionally driven buffoon. And he's like, wait a minute, that can be me too? Simultaneously, my second major note is what made Krieg and Luffy actually subtly really fucking fire to Sanji specifically. I'm just gonna say it. Krieg is like a Judge Light. He was a dude that tried to conquer the seas with a force of nature, with a bunch of troops. He believed in having weapons and technology in order to overwhelm the opposing forces. And Sanji was a guy. Luffy was a guy. And Sanji watching the guy take on the insurmountable force with giant armor and a poison staff, and he comes out on top because of sheer fucking grit. And Sanji's like, holy shit, wait a minute, can that be me one day? Are you telling me I can beat a guy who's literally 4 times my size, maybe with a long mane hair and a mask, and potentially my father?
This guy I vaguely remember from my childhood that the audience doesn't know about yet?
That the audience has no fucking clue about yet? Anyway, so I think what really makes Sanji and Luffy work as characters and what makes them gravitating as a center and a left to Zoro's right, because everyone always calls Zoro the right-hand man. Zoro wants a title. Luffy wants a title. Sanji wants a mythical place. Luffy eventually does also want to find what is, in theory, a mythical place, and they are emotionally driven people. And I love that contrast to one another because they do understand each other. Out of everybody in the crew, if you were to put emotional intelligence on the table, I'd say Luffy scores a 99 out of 100, and Sanji's right there scoring like a 97. He might miss like 2 or 3 points when he gets fucking the fog glasses from like a really attractive woman who's, you know, doing something else in the background when he's supposed to be paying attention to the fucking president. A dude's talking or something like that, right? Like he'll get distracted. I'm not gonna pretend like he don't get distracted, but because they're emotionally driven people, I think what makes, now this goes into, and you already touched on it, Robin, when Robin sacrificed herself, this is the easiest thing to compare. Robin decided that her life was worth exonerating in order to give the Straws an opportunity to continue their lives. Sanji's doing something similar here, but it's not just him giving himself up. It is him choosing or deciding that he doesn't know if he has enough control over the situation to have his cake and eat it too. So he knows he can't just go back to the fucking Baratie and like protect Zeph or whatever. So if Zeph is potentially going to meet his untimely demise and by his own fucking fault, of course he's going to choose his new father over his unfortunate found family. That's just the nature of things. And then, of course, Sanji, being the stupid knucklehead that he is, he doesn't actually say this to anybody. His best effort to shovel them from the situation is to say nothing and just try to beat the shit out of Luffy and tell him to go away. But Luffy's emotional intelligence is a 99 out of 100, Christian. Of course he knows that Sanji's fucking lying to him.
Well,
and Sanji, I think deep down also knows.
I'm gonna slightly nitpick. I think just on your word choice, I think emotional intelligence is maybe not necessarily the right phrasing. I just in the idea that emotional intelligence seems to I don't know, maybe I'll help myself out and Google it in the meantime, but like emotional intelligence speaks to I guess it is kind of what you're saying. I'm being too vague. Emotional intelligence is like a capacity to be aware of another person, like what another person is feeling or how they express emotion. So I guess what you're saying is true then. Like in these moments, Luffy is very in tune a lot of time with how that, like for instance, saying that Sanji doesn't want to be hitting him or leaving, or in Robin's case, like he is making these grand statement gestures that are like, we know you want to sail the 7 seas, Robin. You don't want to go work for the government. You want to hang out with us, and we know that because we have hung out with you and we've exchanged, blood, sweat, and tears together. So I guess in a way you're right, but I don't know. I'm not sure what I would propose as like an alternative, but I think you are correct in what you're saying at a base level. Like Luffy is very highly in tune with the way that his friends operated, like what they feel. So maybe intelligence is, and I just don't know the right way to express what I'm saying, but and this is the asterisks of the night. I am not a clinician, and I am not a licensed psychologist by any means. I throw the word emotional intelligence out there as if I have any fucking clue how to define that. But if you ask me to point it out in a dictionary, I'd point it out in a dictionary. I think it more or less covers what you're saying. It was just I had to talk through it. I think just to on my own rather than just listening to you. I guess more or less Luffy does have good emotional intelligence. What I guess I'm counterbalancing it with is like literally every other moment of the show where Luffy is fucking dumb when it comes to other people that aren't his friends. So maybe my issue is not necessarily with your phrasing. Maybe it's the number, like saying Luffy has a 99. He has a 99 when it comes to his friends, and then you put him with other random people and tell him to empathize, and he's like a 3, you know, like he's the opposite end of the spectrum. Maybe that's what I'm trying to get at here.
I guess I've always, and this is a folly of mine, I always interpret Luffy as the 99 emotional intelligence, but then with the 3 is strict intelligence. He is a fucking moron. And sometimes he tries to prioritize his real intelligence over the emotional intelligence that's innate, and that causes also simultaneous problems where he's like, oh, but my normal intelligence tells me that I should be doing this X, Y, and Z. But if he would listen to his emotional intelligence more often, the innate good shit that you got going for you, buddy, you probably wouldn't be making any mistakes. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
but
well, I mean, it could be. There's probably truth to that too.
Either way, I simply like to really reinforce that what I think makes these 2 idiots easy to gravitate to is that they are unafraid to be emotional fucking lunatics, and I love that for them. I really do. Which is a stark contrast to Zoro, who fucking hates anything emotional. He's a very rational, very rigid individual. So. But I bring all this up because I do find, and you've already kind of nailed it, but I was going to ask you if you felt like this would be the same as a Robin situation, because a lot of people, when they get to this point in the franchise, I remember when this chapter first came out, everyone was like, I mean, I'm crying, but we're just having Robin 2.0. And then other people were like, but I love Robin 2.0. And then other people were like, but it's Robin 2.0. And in my mind, I'm like, guys, he's really not self-sacrificing, even though that is also a character flaw that he would normally exude. He's not self-sacrificing. He's stuck between a literal rock and a dead dad. And he's like, I really shouldn't let my dad die. I don't know what else to do. And I'm like, honestly, buddy, I'm right there with you. I wouldn't know what to do in your situation either.
Yeah, I mean, people are. I would say that people are right. This is kind of Robin 2.0, but there's more to it than just that. You know, there's at least more of the nuance that I mentioned before, where you have this extra layer where it's him being torn specifically between 2 people that he loves, 2 groups that he loves. So is it Robin 2.0? Kind of, but asterisk, there's extra steps. So it's different, and those extra steps are different enough to bring about something meaningful for this character and meaningful for the watchers to get out of it, you know? So I would say that there's a lot of good stuff here.
But what the other main one that I also love to poke at in this, so Sanji is kind of in a weird place where he's doing the I'm leaving the crew kind of like a Robin move, but simultaneously trying to get away with an Usopp duel. And again, because Luffy can read through everything that Sanji does. You know what I really like? Obviously, since I'm a big Usopp fan, I loved the Usopp duel because it was they fought because in that moment, your long-nosed boy really felt like his best course of action was to get off the boat. And Luffy in that moment really believed that Usopp felt that way. So of course they had a genuine duel. And there were even stakes involved. You know, he wanted the boat. And then Luffy's like, well, I beat your ass. You knew it was going to end this way. You could still have the boat. Sad boy hours all day. Contrast to what we have here with Sanji, where Sanji is trying to like manufacture this like fucking, I've always looked down on you pirates. And I've never believed in your cause. We've never really been friends. And of course, everyone in the audience is like, okay, yeah, sure, bud. Is that why you spent 2 years in Kamabaka Kingdom fucking learning how to make your legs spicier and learning all those crazy cool cooking techniques or whatever? Come on. We can see right through your ass. But he wanted to manufacture a second Usopp moment, and Luffy would not let him have it. And honestly, I think that almost made Sanji madder because he knew that Luffy was not going to fight back, but he still needed to do something to convince not only them to leave, but also his family that they were actually at odds with each other. Because even Judge was like, yeah, good, you cut ties. So, I mean, they bought it, whether or not, you know, they care. They still bought it, I guess. But I think here it's very fun to me that because Luffy can understand in an innate level what Sanji is actually wanting. He's like, listen, I'm literally not going to fight you because everything you're saying to me is bullshit. Like, at least when Usopp fought me, he was serious. You, nah. I could read fucking. I could smell that shit on your face a mile away, buddy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they do fight, and Luffy gets his ass kicked to the curb, and then we get the final words from our sad boy here. Yeah, I do love this moment in the series. You know, fun fact: this is the only time that Oda wrote Luffy proclaim anything other than "I'm going to be the king of the pirates." In this one page, he made it very clear that Luffy does not see his own ambition being achieved without this blonde fucking womanizer back on the boat. And I love that for them. I really do. I want him to hug. They should kiss Christian. I'm just kidding.
Don't make the shippers any happier than they already are, Brendan.
They don't need me to make them any happier. They know the truth anyway. I fucking love this fucking show. I think I've probably talked in excess about enough of this stuff, though. Do you have any other major thoughts, many other like anecdotes, things that you want to touch on that you feel like you didn't get to yet?
I mean, it's interesting to see the contrast in duels, obviously, between Usopp's and Sanji's, like you mentioned, where Luffy and Usopp are fighting back because it's this man-to-man duel, and I'm just going to expand on kind of what you said already, that Usopp is fighting for this thing that he so rigidly believes in, and Luffy gets that, you know, and he's willing to fight him man to man because he understands that Usopp is fighting for this thing he really enjoys and he means every word of what he says. And then there's Sanji, who is still fighting for something that he really believes in, but he's saying things towards that agenda to Luffy that will push him away to make it easier on Sanji. Sanji's really only trying to help himself in this situation. Is going to be maybe my hot take. He's not doing this for his friends' benefit. He's doing this more to make it easier to live with his decision of prioritizing Zeph over them.
Wow. Now that's a hot take. Now there's some fucking juice. Wait a minute. Squeeze more, Christian.
He does love his friends, and there is part of him that is doing this for them to, you know, be out of harm's way. If they just fuck off and leave now, they will probably get off scot-free, because Sanji can he'll be part of the Big Mom family, and he'll probably have some pull because the Vince Smokes and the Charlotte family will be one, and he can be like, hey, Big Mom, mother-in-law, if you could just
big mother-in-law,
if you could just, as a favor to me, just stop going after the Straw Hat Pirates, that would probably happen. You know, like Big Mom in some way, he might have to sacrifice something else also, but at the end of the day, Sanji could probably get Big Mom off of the Straw Hat Pirates' back until Luffy fucks up again, and then, you know, something else happens. But in this hypothetical world where Luffy submits and he goes away and forgets Sanji exists, which I'm not saying has to happen, I'm in this hypothetical, it could happen. But him living with the guilt is easier if he forcibly pushes them away and they hate him, which is a tactic we've seen across genres, across mediums, TV shows, movies, whatever. It's all characters always make this choice in order to make themselves feel better. It is partially about saving the people that they're pushing away, but it makes it easier for them to live with their decision if they do that, and they know that those people are out there hating them. Because if they hate you, it's easier to then distance yourself from the love you once had for them. So this is predominantly an action taken by Sanji to make himself feel better.
My God, ladies and gentlemen, he fucking gets it. He gets it. I can't believe it. This is what I've been dreaming of. And every week I come here and I've been waiting for things like this to be talked about. Oh my God, jeez, I might have an aneurysm tonight. Hold on,
Brennan, you gotta stay with me, man. It's fine. It's okay.
I don't know, man. You've not, somebody get Melody. So tell her to write this down.
I'm sure she knows. She's analyzed this shit back to front in so many ways. If she doesn't have an episode or something talking about this specific moment, then I would be surprised to the utmost extent.
No, she has a lot. Make no mistake.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that was just the first name I pulled out of my head.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but she's the cool one that interacts in our community all the time. Yeah. I mean, it's. I think I'm just a sucker for this sort of stuff. Sometimes it's less interesting. I think where I end up disliking it more ends up being in comic book related things, because it's just so quintessential superhero to push away the ones that you love so that they don't get discovered if your superhero identity gets discovered. It's those are a dime a dozen, even more so, like a penny a dozen, like every fucking superhero goes through this at some point. So that's when it gets grating. I just don't care. But this is different. Like, you see this being used in a way that is not always used in shonen animes, because you don't have this hidden identity thing like superheroes do.
I agree. And I think what makes, to your point, when it happens in superhero land, I mean, it happens to all superheroes at one point in time or another. And it's just like, it's a very common trope. One Piece is a franchise filled with tropes. However, it uses every trope as opposed to just signaling down to just one signal trope at a given time. And when we have a cast of characters that we've been with for 800 fucking episodes at a time, and they fall into a trope or two, well, at least it's a refreshing trope for the individual character at a time.
Yeah, it's something different. And while there have been, if you go back through the backlog of this podcast, there are plenty of tropes I've complained about. Most recently, it's damsel in distress stuff, but that stuff tends to annoy me no matter what the medium is. And that's the opposite almost. I mean, it happens in superhero land too all the time. It's save Mary Jane, whatever. But it happens a fuck ton in anime too. Like, we get all across it. So that one is just so blatantly used across everything. But there are other examples in the show that One Piece is utilized well, but also there are some that they've used it the same way as everyone else. So while Oda is not infallible, he has more often than not, I would venture to say, done something at least different enough to keep it interesting, refreshing than the usual. And this is one of those times.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you feel that way, because I feel that way, Christian. I feel like we're having a moment here. We've been having a moment for the last 45 minutes. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for the last 40, what are we at? 42 minutes.
40 minutes. We'll say 40 minutes.
For the last 40 minutes, it's been one long moment. I mean, this is good. That's what this is. That's what we're here for. This is why we record this podcast.
But what I also love most about this is, this I mean, to be fair, it was an hour-long power hour back in Japan when this came out. And this was really maybe one chapter's worth of content. This is like one episode, one chapter at the end of the day. But thankfully, this won't overstay its welcome, because Luffy, we already got like the cutaway, because Sanji has long since left. Nami and Luffy are just like sitting on the sidelines. It's getting dark out. and presumably he's going to stick to his guns. He's going to stay exactly where he fucking is. He will eat nothing. I also love this too. He just got done beating a goon by eating his soldiers pretty much endlessly till he finally won. And he's still on Candyland. And his big proclamation to Sanji is, I'm not eating a fucking crumb unless it comes from your fingertips. And in my mind, I'm like, this is like when you're out at sea and you look all around you and water as far as the eye can see, but not a drop to drink.
Yeah.
Oh, Luffy, how do you do this to yourself? How do you?
Good thing he ate recently.
It's a good thing. Well, yeah, but after he just got done digesting all that, he was craving some meat. You know what happens when he craves meat? It never ends. His stomach's going to be growling within an episode, guaranteed.
Oh yeah. Now he's going to be sick of his ass.
It's going to be fucking tired. Speaking of Nami too, I think this is a fun moment between Nami. Well, maybe not fun. I shouldn't say fun. It's a good moment between Nami and Sanji because Nami is, for whatever reason, respecting what Sanji's doing, but she's also like, how fucking dare you put your hands on Luffy, you fucking asshole. Now we're fucking done. Get out of my face. Breaks my heart. I feel bad for him because I do love their friendship, even though, Sanji could be a bit of a schmuck. Their friendship is still endearing to me at the end of the day. To see Nami going through the ringer was especially when I was first reading it, I felt really bad for those two.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad they got to share something. And then Nami's just like, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. Luffy's fucking inconsolable. His eyes are black. His blood's coming out of his mouth. Oh yeah. By the way, Chopper and Carrot are having a bad time. We forgot to talk about.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot that was at the beginning of 807.
It was for a split second. Chopper and Carrot are still in the mirror world, still running from Brûlé.
Yeah, and now the giant talking crocodile and the swan. What's the bunny rider's epitaph again?
I don't remember what the name is, but I think it's
crane. Is it crane? It's crane rider.
It's a crane and a rabbit.
Crane rider. The crane riding rabbit. I forgot what the rabbit's name is.
I can't. It's like Randolph.
Yes, it is. It's Randolph or Randall or something like that.
Yeah. Wow, pull that one out of my fucking brainstem. Yeah, but hey, do you feel like? So I do have a question for you though, Christian. This is the only question I have by the end of this episode. Is this going to? Luffy's not going to go anywhere.
No.
Is Sanji coming back? Sanji's coming back to this spot?
I don't know. I'm gonna. Oh man, this is tough because Luffy's a stubborn bastard.
Yeah, he is.
Luffy's a stubborn bastard, and he will genuinely not move from that spot. However, I feel as though there's no way we get to the point where he's actually starving. Like he's been there for weeks. There's no fucking way we spend that much time on Whole Cake Island and Big Mom and her goons don't just come and fight him. And he just sits there.
Well, I want to play this out then, Christian.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
I was just say that being said, like that can happen. Maybe he even wins the fight and then he just sits back down and waits for Sanji more. And it feels like in that sort of situation, then Sanji gets wind of that and he's brought to tears again and he realizes the error of his ways and he comes back to the spot in some maybe ideal world, I guess. I'm saying all of this, but I'm not really believing it's going to happen. I'm just kind of throwing it out there as a potential timeline that exists. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's in some way, shape, or form, Luffy ends up being moved from that spot. I don't know if it's going to be, maybe he literally passes out like from something or somebody knocks him out, maybe more likely, and we move him. It just... Would it have more impact if, yes, for some reason, Sanji came back to this spot where Luffy is? Yeah, probably. I just kind of feels like it's not going to happen. I don't know. There's too much. There's too much surrounding it. But based on the formula the show uses and Luffy's proclamation, don't mix in my head. Him saying he's going to be here until he starves and dies, basically. That takes weeks. If you're Luffy, you'll feel like it after 2 hours, but I don't think in reality we sit here on whole cake for that amount of time for him to actually starve.
Well, hold on. There's always, he just got done metabolizing however many fucking calories worth of biscuit just from fucking osmosis and fighting. Is there a real world scenario where he fights so much that he literally just burns through every fucking calorie in his fucking body?
I guess, but like I don't know, man. It feels like I mean, yeah, obviously the man's got mega metabolism. He went from giant to less giant to normal size in one King Bomb ride. So, and it's
while napping, by the way.
While napping, when your metabolism works slower, and it's noted by Nami, probably not by accident. This has happened across the show. Luffy has eaten till he's the size of King Bomb, and then shrinks down 3 scenes later. This isn't new. But the fact that it's pointed out so directly by Nami in this instance, 800 episodes into this shit, is like, okay, well, what was the point? Clearly, they're going to utilize this, and maybe there's some truth to what you're saying, where they're gonna leverage Luffy's super high metabolism to make him starve. Feel actually starving in one day, or maybe even 2. Who knows? Maybe we stretch it. Maybe we don't have an arc that is only encompassed in one day, and we get starving Luffy after a little bit of time, way quicker than the average person. So yeah, I guess there's a world where he works it off so quickly, but
well, okay. Maybe we're leading this, conversation to. Does he need to be starving for them to meet again, or do you think that's going to be that's going to happen?
Yeah, I feel like that part is going to happen.
Like for sure, he's like, I'm literally. Well, we know he will absolutely never eat anything ever again.
Yes,
as long as it doesn't come from Sanji. That is a easy sell. It's the part where he won't move and also starve himself to death. When he says he's going to starve himself to death, do we assume that must therefore mean that because drama, is Sanji and Luffy not going to see each other until he's starving?
I feel as though that particular aspect is true. Luffy may be moved from the spot, but the next time they see each other, Luffy might actually be starving. Yeah.
Interesting takes. Because the next thing I was going to ask was, if he doesn't move, does he just like casually 1v1,000 the rest of Big Mom's total army?
Yeah, here? I mean, exactly. That's the other half of this is, well, Big Mom's not just going to fucking let him sit there, so he's going to end up fighting people. I think you potentially bring up a good red herring of he fights so much that he starves quicker, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, I suppose.
We'll wait and see. There was a tale that we were given earlier in the franchise where Garp explained to us that, Roger was a man on a mission. He was the man. He was the guy. He managed to take on an entire army single-handedly. Maybe this is Luffy's moment, is all I'm getting at.
This could
be Luffy's fucking moment. This is his Roger moment. That's all I'm getting at.
Could be.
Very, very well could. But yeah, I think I'm good. I've covered all of my topics at length that I wanted to cover. Christian, thank you for being here with me again, buddy. It's always a pleasure, especially when you are on the correct side. I can't tell you enough how much that elates me. And this is good. This is a good episode. I feel good. You thought we were stuck in the early 2000s. Well, gotcha. We're also in either late 70s or early 80s. I don't remember when that song came out.
One of those is right, maybe.
I think it was... I'm just going to look it up. I Feel Good song. I think I'm going to say 78. That's my guess. James Brown came out... 65.
Ooh,
fuck, I was way off.
We are bad.
Way
by
off.
we, I mean
Excuse me. Yeah. By me. All right. Anyway, move the fuck. All right, Chris, what are we doing next? Oh, next week. I'm sorry. This is my part. Next week. Oh, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. I'm good now.
All right, next week, listeners, will be 809 to 811, and we will try not to lie to you. But sometimes
it happens, dude.
It do be like that sometimes. All right, moving on to quotes. My only quote is all of the Luffy proclamations at the end, because god damn it, do I love when these fucking idiots say emotional shit that make me tear up.
Understandable.
That's that ride or die shit.
Very understandable. I have a few of my own quotes. Obviously, they come from 808 because there's next to nothing worthwhile in 807.
Okay, come on. You don't need to say all that.
Yeah, look, the positivity was too high. I had one last dig. I will, just because it's basically already been said, but I'll give you the subversion of Luffy's thing that from the summary. Starts with, "Our journey isn't over. If you don't come back, I'll be here starving to death. You're the cook of my ship. I won't eat anything other than what you cook. Even if I get hungry or spears rain down on me, I'll stay right here and wait for you. Be sure to come back, Sanji. Without you, I can't become king of the pirates." So
I love it.
Very, very similar energy. It's great. It's powerful. The voice acting, immaculate, as always, in powerful moments like this. Following that is a line from Sanji which is, this is one of those lines that, obviously Sanji is trying to hurt his feelings and he's saying a bunch of things that he doesn't really mean. However, there's like truth to some of what he's saying, but in ways that's just like, he would have never said this maliciously to Luffy before. It just happens to hold grains of truth now because of the situation they're in. Sanji just says to him, in response to Luffy saying he's never going to move or won't go away, I think specifically, Sanji says, "You've always been selfish," which obviously has truth to it, but it was always used in like a joking manner before. If it's like Luffy eats too much food or he pushes people to extremes, but like now it has more depth to a simple comment like that, because Sanji is so desperately trying to wrestle with his emotions. And
I mean, he's trying to hurt Luffy,
and he's trying to hurt Luffy, but Luffy obviously is not having any of it because he knows Sanji doesn't want to do what he's doing. The other part of this is a line from Luffy, actually, but not even to Sanji. It's to Nami when Nami starts pleading with Sanji that we'll just go away, stop hitting Luffy, stop fighting. We'll just leave. It's fine. Like we can go back. And Luffy says to her, "Stay out of it. This is a duel." Which, if I was a smarter man, I might have gone back and to the Usopp fight and seen if there was a similar line, because I would guess that there's probably, not necessarily to Nami, but to somebody on the crew that probably opposed this.
I can sort of tell you, I can shed a little bit of light. It wasn't during the fight, but the only thing that happened where this sort of, I guess, a dynamic occurred, Chopper wanted to heal or help Usopp after he had gotten his ass beaten in by Luffy, obviously. And it was actually Sanji that tried to convince Chopper, it's a duel between men. He doesn't want our pity. Fun fact.
Okay. Yes, I remember this. I do remember this. Interesting that it came from Sanji.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It is. It's interesting. So, but yeah, that's Luffy's quote to Nami. That maybe he even remembers hearing from Sanji back then if he wanted to really dig deep into it, but who knows? Either way, it's a fire line and I was there for it. But those are all my quotes.
All right. Well, I thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Well, it's time. It's that time this week. It's time for the golden ham. Goddamn, I feel like I gotta give it to that stupid fucking rubbery motherfucker. He sees through everything, Christian. He sees him, and I love that. I don't think I can not give it to him this week. Because I like, the alternative is Sanji, obviously, but he's going through a lot and he's making bad choices. And you know who is still the realist in all of this is and will always be fucking Luffy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue. I don't think, I honestly I mean, I agree that I think Luffy should get it. So we'll put down Luffy for the golden ham. I disagree with your point about Sanji in that like he's making the wrong decisions. And this is gonna sound like heresy coming from me, maybe. I don't know. I don't know that I'd classify what he's doing as the wrong decision. He's choosing the lesser of two evils. I don't know if that makes it the wrong decision necessarily. Right now, he just doesn't see a way out of this. I don't know if it could be just the same sort of thing that we've seen with other characters where they see the binary decision and not some mythical third option that the protagonist has to point out, where you just go like, of course you have a decision. There's always a choice, because Sanji's gonna be like, I didn't have a choice. It's either you guys or Zeph. I couldn't decide, whatever. And then the protagonist or whoever's got to go, there's always a choice. You can always do something different. And so right now, Sanji's just kind of not seeing that. He's in the most stressful situation of his life. Some people may consider that still making the wrong decision, given that he's giving up his friends for Zeph.
Maybe I'm being a little biased here. That's very true. There's nothing saying that there is a right and wrong here. But to your point, I think my default would be to be the naysayer camp who's like, well, just tell him the truth. Tell him the truth, Sanji.
Yeah.
That's where my unfortunate misdemeanor came from.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to the person in their right mind to do it. But the other part is, well, here's the thing, really, right? Is that Sanji has been told by these people that there is a person or group of people on standby right there, parked right outside the Baratie, basically, ready to pull the trigger as soon as they get the word. So Sanji has yet to find a moment where he can tell his friends what's up that isn't in the presence of Judge and the rest of the Vinsmoke family. So he's in this predicament where he may have had the thought where he wants to tell his friends so that they can help him. But in this moment, he is choosing Zeph as the more important, and so he has to play the part of that. So, I would consider that Sanji can be a golden ham candidate. But for the point that his story is just it's more compelling right now, beside when you remove Luffy's stubbornness and his in-tuneness with Sanji and that all that goodness. So yeah, Sanji's obviously a good backup pick here. I just wouldn't classify so binarily that he's making the wrong decision.
I appreciate you keeping me honest, Christian. It's good to keep me on my toes, because I say fucking outrageous, baseless shit all the time, and I need people like you to ground me.
No problem, man. That's what I'm here for.
All right, but we're picking Luffy.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the golden hand goes to Luffy for sure.
Let's go.
Sure.
It goes to the rubbery boy himself.
Yes, sir,
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on. Moving on to the fan mail. We don't have any this week. I am so sorry to hear. I'm so sorry, listeners. You hate to see it. But moving on to Patreon shout outs.
Taco, baby.
We love you, Taco. As always will.
That's a delicious taco right there. Let me tell you.
Here's to you,
real man of genius.
It's based off of a Mexican cuisine. I'm partial to the red peppers.
Personally, I'm a soft shell guy.
Yeah, there we go. That's a better one. All right, next we have the Garb Gap. I got it.
We do.
Still have it.
Yes. I'm gonna officially take this from you now. I know you don't particularly enjoy holding on to it, but I left it at the office last time. So now I'm gonna officially take this off your hands so you don't have to suffer anymore. But I will. I assume. Did you refill it with anything or should I do that real quick?
I did fill it.
Oh, okay.
I gotta be honest with you.
So in that case, I'll just reach in then. I do hope it's not used needles like last time.
No, it's not used needles, but so I will say I did get a little busy. Christian, I went down an AO3 rabbit hole again.
Oh boy.
And there's a lot of slips of paper in there. So you'll see the Garb Gab topic on the cover, but if you open up like the pages, it's all Sanji Luffy fanfic, every single one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that. And I'm looking at this one, and I didn't think it was really something people were interested in, given how far back in the story she is. But this one also involves Miss Valentine, so I guess we'll just do a Valentine award for that reason alone, really. That because I'm surprised anyone even remembers AO3 Miss Valentine. So
I guess people might like that that lemon fit that she was rocking back in the day.
Sure, yeah, that's true, I guess. And I'm sure there's all kinds of things that AO3 writers can do with that devil fruit power too. So I didn't even think about that. Christian, what have you done? Yeah, and if they didn't have inspiration now, then maybe somebody's write that down right now. Write that down. So yeah, I guess we'll do a Valentine award for these episodes.
Let's do it.
And
Valentine award
right off the bat, honestly, jokingly, I wanted to say Sanji.
Christian, can I tell you? I thought the same fucking thing.
Jokingly and somewhat seriously, I wanted to say Sanji. However, in the 10 seconds since we decided to do this, and I went, Sanji's a good pick here, I then remembered Green G's comment about Nami in these episodes. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, I do. I do remember Green G's comment. Well, at least in the dub, he was like, after she slapped Sanji, he was like, "Oh, that's hot. I love him feisty."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how well the translation is to what the subtitles are, but instead of feisty, they use bitchy.
Oh, is that a fact?
Yeah, and that was like, whoa. He went Green G said something along the lines of like, "Ooh, this is a bitchy girl. That's hot," or something like that. And I was like, "You shut the fuck up." What? Okay, I want to jump through the screen and triangle choke you to death twice.
Fucking Green G, dude.
So
I sort of fucking God. I hate
I'm gonna nominate Green G for the Valentine Award just for that. I can't let this man get away with this.
I love the way you think, brother. I'm right there with you. I am all in on Green G. Let's
Green G.
Fuck you, Green G. Go in the fucking dirt where you belong.
Get in the garbage.
Oh shit. Get in the garbage.
This might like of all the siblings, this might put Green G at the top of the list of like the worst ones.
Blue G literally beat the shit out of a woman.
That is true. Okay, he's second. Green G's second place. Blue G's still number one. You're right. No,
it's a race to the bottom.
It's a race,
but I'm just saying, Blue G is still at the bottom.
It's a race to the bottom of the top of the bottom. Blue G's definitely still at the top. You're right. That has slipped my mind.
Yeah. Like, comments aside, Blue G literally assaulted a person.
Yeah, that did happen. That did happen. You're right. Now let's see what Reggie does to fucking piss.
Let's see what Reggie
what
can
affront to womenkind is Reggie gonna accomplish here? Because we got Green G and Blue G with their own offenses. So now, like, what's gonna happen with Reggie?
Well, if we can only escalate from here, Chris,
it's so hard. It's so hard to say Reggie and not think of the Pokemon Reggie, the Reggie lines.
Oh, Regirock?
Yeah, just all of them. Because Reggie, Reggie. Like I keep thinking that I'm talking about Pokemon every time I mention him. But all right, one of the easiest Valentine awards of my life for Green G. Glad we did this. It's great. It's
glad
great
we did
because
this.
Obviously none of them are ever gonna get a golden ham. So I'm quite content that we could end up giving one of them a Valentine.
You know what also just fucking really drives the stake when Luffy is proclaiming all of this stuff to Sanji, which is really shit that he needs to hear, because all the time feeling rejected, and his homies are standing by his side no matter what. His fucking family is just laughing. They're like,
oh yeah,
they're sitting there, their mouths agape. They think that they're having a fucking blast at Sanji's fucking suffering. I hate them. Fuck
them all.
They're fucking horrible.
Scum of the earth.
Scum of the goddamn earth.
But all right.
I'm satisfied. Well, if you don't mind me, Christian, I'm gonna go create more Men of Genius as I do in my free time these days.
All right. Well, while you do that, I'm gonna take us out here. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another episode of the podcast. If you would like to follow us on social medias, you can do so at Panda Sightings on Twitter and Instagram. If you'd like to support us monetarily like Taco does, you can do so at our Patreon link in the description of the podcast. If you would like to support us and get something for it, you can go to our Redbubble shop, where there are a bunch of pretty fun and cool designs made by people in our community that we pay them for very, very handsomely to make beautiful art for us. And now you too can own this beautiful art in many different forms. If you would like to email us so that we can have some fan mail to read on the show, you can do so at pandasightings@gmail.com and tell us how much you absolutely hate the Vince Smoke family like we do. And I think that's it.
I really hate the blue one in particular.
He's top of the garbage pile.
He's the bottom of the trash can for sure.
Might even be worse than Wapple.
That winch fuck kind of stinks though too.
All right.
I could do this all fucking day.
I'm sure you can, which is why I'm going to cut you off. Bye, everybody. Right. I love you.